All right, so we're gonna try this again. For whatever reason, the previous live stream had some issues, had some problems. So I figured I would just skip the games with the feds and reset the phone and start all over again. You know what I mean? Um, done been to Walmart. Now I'm at the dollar store here, one of the dollar stores here in West Monroe. Um, you know, and prices are ridiculous. People don't want to talk about inflation, but I initially stopped by here to save money, you guys, trying to buy one of those foam tops because I'm trying to set up a studio room and so forth. However, they wanted $25 at the dollar store for a piece of foam. So I knew right off the bat, inflation has taken its toll here in the United States. And these are the subjects, these are the topics that people don't want to talk about. I went grocery shopping at the neighborhood store a little further down. And, you know, I don't even want to mention the prices. Let's just say they were off the Richter scale. Um, and there's certain meats and products that I don't eat because I try my best to abide by the dietarian laws, etc., of Leviticus. So the Hebraic dietary laws, I try to, live off that. Nonetheless, it was off the chain with, you know, these prices, and you start to see in your everyday life the effect of the government spending years and millions and billions of taxpayers' dollars um, toward eliminating private farms and homesteads. So you guys probably don't remember, but a few years back, there was this farmers protest because the United States government was paying privatized farmers to kill off their crops and kill off their cattle and chickens, uh, followed by private investors, globalists such as Bill Gates, buying up all the cattle farms that remain, and the other farms, the grain farms, etc. So what am I saying? There's a monopoly. There's a monopoly. Monsanto, DuPont, the Gates Foundation, they have a monopoly on your food sources. So you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade unless you go through them. This is the reality of that they don't want you to wake up to. So I'll wait. Here at an intersection, I know how these operatives work. Work. They will, uh, you know, act as if they're slowing down. As soon as you get ready to turn out, they're pressing the gas, getting ready to run you off the road. Um, so that's just what it is. Let me roll up these windows some. So it's gloomy here in the state of Louisiana. If you're in the building, I welcome you on. Um, and that's just what that is. But yeah, uh, the distractions, what I was mentioning in the previous video, um, is from the December decision whether or not to reinstate FISA 702. So FISA 702 is very important because the deep state, these intelligence agencies, these operatives, they are utilizing this unconstitutional legislation, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance um, Act, Section 702, in order to carry out these torture Nazi campaigns, these harassment campaigns against people like myself. Now, you've seen my videos, you've heard my complaints, but I'm just one of thousands here in the United States of America who's been victimized by a tyrannical deep state system. Kabash is in the building. He said, "What's good? Uh, can I drive? Oh man, you want to drive the Beta, huh? I mean, I'm trying to, move up from this thing. The perps, they done bust my windshield more than once. Every time I get it repaired, they put a crack in it. So, I'm going to make sure that my other financial obligations are taken care of before I reinstate a new windshield, you know. So that's just what it is. Kind of heading back toward Calhoun, leaving the West Monroe area, actually. And like I was saying, we have Brookshires now. On the East Coast, they have like Lions Food. On the West Coast, they have their own thing. Here in this part of the South, we have Brookshires. So, people's like, I've never heard of a Brookshires before. Well, that's what a Brookshires is. It's our little grocery chain, etc. But they're all one and the same. Nonetheless, Kabash, I was talking about the distractions on mainstream news media that is intended to keep the people's focus off December's, um, you know, reterming or reenactment of the FISA 702 Act. A lot of people, they're letting it work. This witchcraft magic of, McCarthy, um, that saga, the Nancy Pelosi saga. Why do you think there's so much disruption in the uh, House of Representatives, in the Senate? Because guess what? That bill has to come across their desk. And if they shut the government down, they can still extend this unconstitutional legislation another year. This is what they're up to. You don't think that all those wicked entities are on the same side? Of course they are. They just know that the majority of the public is dumb, ignorant, and they fall for the old okie dokie every single time. This is just the reality of it. You know, don't be deceived. They're all on the same team. And the reason why the House of Representatives is divided because they know they need to um, vote on the FISA legislation, specifically Section 702, which grants the unconstitutional authority of the Department of Justice and the FBI, NSA, etc., the human tail, the power to illegally tap our phones, run these never ending false investigations, slander campaigns. COINTELPRO is all wrapped up in the 702. So if they can put out a street theater and make people believe that, it's a divide on, McCarthy and Nancy Pelosi, guess what? They're going to pull that rabbit right out their hat because it seems to be working. You know, there's a lot of tricks that the devil have up his sleeve, and if you're not aware of Satan's devices, they will work. A lot of people thinking that Satan is going to come just right out evil. No, it says in the scriptures that he disguised himself as a good angel, as an angel of righteousness. And then it goes on to say that his agent provocateurs in that same passage, they disguised themselves as, productive, working, law abiding citizens. And this is what you're seeing right here in North Louisiana is people who's driving along Montana tags DAE 879. Why would somebody be in this small little town from the state of Montana Anyway, long story short, these people appear to be going about their business, but you best believe they're up to no good. Trust me. I get the full escort. Normally, I do take Highway 80. I think I might take like a little back road and U-turn on these jokers, because uh, they were planning on escorting me. North Carolina tags, uh, HFE, blah blah blah, and that's what an agent looks like. North Carolina tags, Montana tags. Do you think they are in this small little town, not on assignment? You'd be a fool to think that there's this many out of state tags in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana. That's just the reality of it. So we're going to get those tags. HFE 8293, North Carolina, right? And they thought they were going to escort me back to Calhoun, but we're going to take a detour. We're going to take a detour and see what they do. You know what I mean? See how they respond um, when we detour from our standard route. So see what happens. We got white Texas tags. I really do hate these little roundabouts because some people don't know how to drive or these little roundabouts. They get confused, and if you don't watch it, they will hit you even if you have the right of way. So I'm just going to take a little tiny detour to get around these idiots. Um, I could have taken the interstate, but they would probably give me a ticket because you're not supposed to turn onto the interstate from the right-hand lane, which is stupid. They make you come all the way down here, even though you can access the interstate right there. They make you drive all the way around uh, in order to get to the interstate if you just so happen to be on the right hand. Now, if you're on the left hand side of the lane, then of course uh, they will allow you to turn onto the interstate, which is just ridiculous the way that they have the street set up down here. It's even worse the further you go south. There's those blinding bright lights. But back to the subject at hand. Um, Kabash, you're in the building. You should know Section 702 and the distractions that they have. It's just a whole Truman Show. It's a Truman Show saga. It says, I thought the same thing. They wanted people to be scared and sign again. Absolutely. Why do you think they're talking about so-called, I can't say it, but over there, it's not even a real battle. It's not even a real warfare, right? You're talking about people for their military arson, they have sticks. You know what? I'm going to go to the park instead. I'm going to go here, a little uh, place I like to kind of relax my mind and finish up this video so I'm not distracted, and then it gives me enough time to get these agents off my back. Long time ago, believe it or not, I used to be a head chef at that you know, Hilton. Back in my younger days, I went to culinary art class, and I actually was. They have a fancy look supposed to be fancy restaurant down there, and I used to actually cook at that location many years ago. And then Surge, um, many of you down south know this. Other people they don't know this, but the Surge Entertainment Arcades is owned by Drew Brees. He's, you know what I mean, putting these things everywhere, and a lot of people are wasting their time and money being entertained. So if you see the Surges down south, Drew Brees, he actually owns all those. So I'm just going to go over here and park, or at least I was, and now it's full. Restoration Park. So they obviously are tuned into um, my live stream. Normally it's kind of um, empty over here, you know. Only on Saturdays normally is Restoration Park full, but it's a full mile or two of like uh, just this beautiful park scenery. I might actually walk through it just a little bit to give you guys a taste. I've done it before, but Restoration Park it used to be a place where you could come clear your head, and very few people knew about Restoration Park. So I could come out here and get away from the foolery. So I'm just going to park for a little bit. It says you be on your business. Absolutely. I try to be. I try to be. If you're not on your P's and Q's nowadays, uh, the enemy's waiting for somebody to slip, and he's hoping that you're distracted with the entertainment, with the foolery, with the Truman Show just long enough for him to come in and snatch your lights out, and so forth. So I try to keep my head on a swivel, uh, see what's going on in my own personal environment first, and then look a little further into what's going on in the world as a whole. So if you guys, realize what is going on, they have these campaigns of fear mongering, as Kabosh said, right? It's not even a real war. A lot of people don't even know this, but when it comes to, and I'm not anti-Semitic, so please, YouTube, do not take this video down. I'm just going to give factual information. And if you decide to flag me on this video, which you do pretty much every video that I put out, please state what part of what I am getting ready to say is not a factual truth. So, for one, that region over there in the Israeli Gaza Palestinian um, region have been in conflict ever since the Balfour Proclamation, which was signed. It was basically the Rothschilds purchasing that region, which had been stolen and colonized by Great Britain, right? So after World War II, Great Britain, which had stolen that land by military might and force, colonizing the inhabitants that were already there, the Palestinians, which were in biblical times, um, their more melanated ancestry before they got all mixed up and diluted were the Philistines. The Philistines were very dark black people with Nephilim blood. Years and years later, you get the Palestinian people that we see today, the Arabs. They were already there. They've been there for centuries. They were there when David was there. They were there before David was there, etc. So, long story short, you fast forward, Rothschilds, he signs this proclamation, which is pretty much disguising the mere fact that he took all that trillions of dollars. We're talking about the richest family on the planet, right? Um, he actually purchased that land and he buys the right to it. And they took all the Europeans who practiced Judaism, which is a religion, called themselves having a religious or spiritual right to that land, even though it was prophesied that the Israelites, which are the so called Afro American Negroes, which were trafficked, human trafficked, let's just be honest, human trafficked through the transatlantic slave trade to the four corners of the earth, which is in line with biblical prophecy. So they swapped the two meanings and said, okay, the Jewish converts of Europe now have a land to call their own. And this is biblical prophecy. Well, no, it's not biblical prophecy because it was prophesied to the Israelites, not to a religious group who converted and diluted the practices of Judaism, which was the customs of the Israelites. So let's just be real. And one of those was a Talmudist by the name of Rothschilds. Rothschilds purchased that area, and between 1947 and 1948, the Europeans in Germany and in Russia began to migrate to that region, subjugating the people that was already there to second class citizenship in their own land, and the conflict's been on ever since then. You know, the U.S. military, along with the European Union, they sponsored Rothschilds in the European converts with military support, military weapons, military might, and they became established as the bankers of the world, the International Monetary Fund bankers. It's just the reality of it. And I'm not supporting Hamas, not at all. I'm not supporting anybody who kill or terrorize or do anything. I'm not supporting any evil, period. I'm just stating the facts that it's been in conflict for a long time. And at best, these people have sticks, they have outdated guns and missiles. Heck, you can drop me, you can parachute me over there with nothing but my grandpa's old shotgun, and I could take out Hamas all by myself. And I'm not even a man of war. You see what I'm saying? Outside of spiritual war. But that's how weak their military presence is. So they're making a big something out of nothing. And of course, the gang stalkers. Let me walk out here because as you can see, the stalkers are here. It says that's not the place where the Most High promised us anyway. The promised land is more inland Africa. Absolutely. And I can actually prove what you're saying through documentation. I'm going to post a video. I actually been trying to upload it, but YouTube won't allow me to upload it. I'm going to show people the exact spot where the real Mount Sinai was located. This is the reality of it. People don't want to hear it, but I'm just going to prove it through documentational un it's going to be undeniable facts that I'm going to present to the entire YouTube community. So you're absolutely right. And I'm going to give the exact location of where Mount Sinai is in Africa. They don't want you to know. So I'm going to just take a little brief walk and then I'll end this video because I come out here a lot. But bicycle stalker, you know, bicycle stalkers are on the loose. This is just ridiculous. Uh, Texas tags, what I call the house figure stalkers, they're on the loose. They're actually in that blue car parked next to mine. So, you have a barrage of people who have sold their soul. Many of them regret that they've sold their soul to join in on the Antichrist beast system. I pray that you repent and you come back to the light. If people feel sorry for selling their souls to the enemy, I believe that the Father can accept you back if it's in His will, and I definitely would try. You know, but anyway, this is Restoration Park. I'm not going to walk around the entire mile-and-a-half trail, um, but it tells you to keep all your pets on a leash. Why? Because out here we do have alligators. I seen a 12-foot alligator on I-20 about 2 weeks ago. As a matter of fact, I saw one larger than that. It was about 15 foot during the drought. It was on I-20, and it was just amazing. How's it going? I'm all right. It was absolutely amazing to see a 15-foot alligator trying to cross the street. And normally, we do have swamps and things of that nature. And back when I was smaller, we used to call them catids, even though that wasn't the correct word for them. But you would see from time to time, if you was going fishing, like the small alligators, maybe 2 or 3 feet, but to see one 15 feet coming out of the swamp, crossing from one side of the street to the other, stopping traffic, that was absolutely insane. But yeah, we do have those. So if you have little small pets, they could get eaten. Now, this area here, the um, while the um, Fishing and Game Commission, they do a great job of ensuring that it's pretty much well maintained. So I've never come across a snake. I've never come across anything other than a turtle in this area. It says Restoration Park. This is the most unusual park, and it is, with an interesting history. It is an urban wetlands park that also function as a water flood detention basin, because flooding is pretty common here in this area, because the water tables are so close to the surface. Um, every rain, some part of the neighborhoods gets flooded out around here. I live in Calhoun, so we're pretty much in the highlands compared to, like, the more you head towards Monroe, that would be considered lowlands. So they get a lot of flooding, especially over in, like, the town and country um, community where a lot of so-called black people live. Moving on, it says it is located on the site of a major sand and gravel mining operation that continued for 50 years. After this site was mined out, so they mined out all the sand and gravel in the 1970s, it was used by many people in the area to illegally dump all manners of trash and refuse. So they used to just dump stuff here. So the city of West Monroe purchased this land in 1989 and began to plan and develop the property as a flood water detention basin and recreation area. So this is the history of it. And you didn't come to this channel to see me read. You came to hear about this truth and see something. So I'm going to show you a little something. Um, Night Tiger's in the building. He said, "Yo, Night Tiger, I'm out here in the wilderness, man. I feel like doing some staff training. What do you think about that, brother? You know, out here in the wilderness, I might as well just pick up a stick and start swinging like you do on your videos, preparing for the apocalypse." I'm just kidding, but this is the entry to the park. Now, this trail that I'm on, this gravel trail, it goes off several different ways, but a lot of people use it for exercising. That's what I normally do. If you want to get like uh, a mile, 2 mile run in it and enjoy great scenery while you're doing it, this is the way to go, you know. So this is the way to go. Several routes and passages that you can take. Of course, you can come here and then go all the way around, and then it'll eventually bring you out on back toward this way. They have little bird feeders, bird nests. You can see some of the common local birds in the area. Pull-up bar for those who's exercising. Last time I was able to do 20. I doubt if I can do 10 nowadays. A little bench for those who bring their free weights out here and they want to really feel the burn. You know what I mean? And then this little bridge, it takes you across remember, this was used as a uh, water retention. So this natural creek that flows through here, they've created different channels that allow the natural water systems in the area to kind of flow through out the park in the region. And you'll see like, beautiful streams such as this. And if you look real close, now my camera's not good enough, but if I could zoom in, the water's so clear, you can see like a lot of the local fish in the area. So you'll see crappie, brim. I haven't seen any bass, but normally it's just crappie, brim, bluegill, small fin fish that dwell in the rocks and so forth. So you'll see that. Gabash says, okay, so it said, and do some knife training. Okay, might as well. You know what I mean? Do some knife training. I tell you one thing, we're gonna have to definitely do some training and prepare for what's to come, what's already here, should I say? Because I never thought I would wake up in the middle of a Holocaust. I never thought I would be the victim of government level crimes. I never thought the CIA and the FBI would take entrance in trying to take me out and assassinate me. I never thought I would be the most underground popular man on the planet due to the fact that I desire truth. I desire to seek truth. So this weird little tree here is called a slippery elm tree. It's called a slippery elm. I've showed this before, but a lot of people come out here because trees that are common in this region just isn't so common elsewhere. So although it looks like nothing, a lot of people, they'll travel around here just to kind of see some of the, how's it going? Some of the wildlife and botany that's happening in this area, So it's interesting to them. Me, I'm just trying to survive in this crazy world and figure out what's next. What do we do? Because we have to live in reality, and living in reality means that we have to address the real problems in order to resolve them. And FISA 702 is a real problem. The fact that they have instituted unconstitutional legislations in order to destroy many people in the name of national security, that's a problem. That's a real problem. So you have that going on. You have the McCarthy saga, them removing him. That's never been done before. Speaker of the House being removed in the United States, that's never been done before. I believe Nancy Pelosi's been removed from Speaker of the Senate, right? So you have the Speaker of the House gone, Speaker of the Senate gone. You have a man who's supposed to have been charged with countless amounts of criminal activity in several different states, still campaigning and running and excelling in the polls, right? Um, you have another guy who's supposed to be running the country, and this guy can't even remember how to spell his own name. You know what I mean? But yet they're all obsessed with my name. You see what I'm saying? I have no power to influence legislations. I can't sign documentation that takes away people's protected constitutional rights, nor can I authorize conflicts or wars. You know, I don't have that sort of political power in this system. Now, in the spiritual realm, it says the prayers of the righteous availeth much, and that holds to be true. So I'm going to turn around, but I wanted to get up further enough. I forgot how far down it is. There's like a swamp area, and there's a bridge you cross, and that's the area I wanted to get to, because a lot of times you see a lot of interesting things out that way. You know, with the pelicans and the different birds and huge turtles, because we have these huge alligator turtles here. I mean, those things can get me 100-pound turtle. You know, see one of those, that'll stop you in your tracks. But I'm going to turn around because they're probably breaking into my vehicle as this video is being broadcast. So yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Kabash says, I never thought I had to be careful. In the, I never thought I had to be careful. I'm assuming in these TI streets, these devils are everywhere in the cut. Absolutely. Out in the woods, they're all over the place. If I was out here for another 2 to 3 minutes, this place would be absolutely full. It would be absolutely full, from nothing to every agent in the town being dispatched to this location. This is the reality. Sometimes if they are informed that I'm live streaming, then of course the activity cuts back, because the objective of 007 agents is to remain undetected. But it's the reality of it. I don't have to, prove this to be true. The legislation does. There's no legislation passed through Congress that isn't being enforced in our society, right? Why do they pass legislations? So they can enforce it. You know what I mean? They don't vote on bills just to, so people can break all the rules. So that 702, it's being carried out. The Defense Authorization Act, it's actually being carried out. People can gaslight all they want to, but the truth of the matter is there's a war here in America. Now, they call it the abstract war on terrorism, but it's a war. As John F. Kennedy said, just because you're not seeing army fatigues, the BDUs, or, for those of you who don't know, BDUs are battle dress uniform camouflage. You know what I mean? So you don't see people running around here in BDUs and combat boots. You don't see convoys rolling down your street and machine guns, the war just looks different. It looks a whole lot different than your conventional war. This is a war carried out um, go, in guerrilla style conspicuancy. So you have CMO black ops. What is a CMO black op? Civilian military operation. This is where militant soldiers dress up in civilian clothing and they carry out operations. So that's what a CMO is. You know, a CMO is civilians, people, military people dressed up in civilian clothes. Um, and if you guys don't think that guy is not militant, you know, I don't know what to tell you. You don't have an eye for it, pray for it. It's called discernment, people. You know, so you have militant operatives that cannot be detected by the average citizen because they blend in with the population, right? This is the reality of America, and I'm walking back to my car. Um, like I said, um, I used to come out here all the time and go all the way around the trail. There's two different ways to, or three different ways rather, to actually go around the trail. That way it don't get boring every single time you come. And it is beautiful. And so if you want to get those cardios in, you just want to do some nature walking, whatever it is. The natural thing is, I want you guys to look up at this canopy, full 360 canopy. You know, so if you're being hit with EMF, directed energy weapons, radio um, frequencies, if you've been implanted, if you've been chipped, come out to a place like this, where literally this is the top view, right? So no matter where I walk, there's a natural protection barrier of the foliage in the canopy. These vines and these trees create natural protection, not only from the UV rays, but from these inhumane satellite drone weaponry that is used to torture the victim with carcinogenic, meaning cancer-given frequencies. So I normally come out here so my body can restore itself, you know, getting out into nature. But this is like the best kind of nature you can be in, where there's a natural canopy protecting you. They hate this. This is when they truly send out their operatives so they can have boots on the ground access to your boy. Let's see what some of the comment says. It says they always, yeah, text confusion. Yeah, I can believe that. Beautiful woods. Where you at, making? I'm in West Monroe. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
All right.
Good.
I'm doing a live stream, kind of showing them, what the West Monroe Calhoun area have to offer. Yeah, it is. It is nice out here. So, yeah. Anyway, more and more is going to show up, but nonetheless, I'm in Restoration Park. I don't think you was in a live stream when I mentioned it earlier, but this is North Louisiana now. South Louisiana get a whole lot of attention, and nobody ever heard of any of the northern, uh, towns and suburbs and things. But Shreveport have grown in popularity. So Shreveport is probably about 75 to 80 miles west of where I'm at right now. And that's probably the most well-known other city in the state of Louisiana outside of New Orleans. Now, everybody knows New Orleans, and if you say Louisiana, they're going to automatically say New Orleans. But Louisiana is a state, not just one town. You know what I mean? So this is the metro of Monroe, West Monroe, which includes um, Calhoun, which is where I stay. I stay way out in the country. You know what I mean? So, believe it or not, Jedi, guess what? They come out. They come from all over. Even if they got to drive from Colorado, as you can see, they come from all over. Just interact with your board. We got Kentucky tags. You know what I mean? All out here in the country, in the middle of nowhere. That's just the reality of it. Guys, it gets real. You know what I mean? It gets real. More and more bots showing up. Um, See the Ram trucks, they can throw those things in neutral, and with those loud cherry pipes, they can create noise campaigns. That's what they normally do with those pickup trucks out here in the country, is rev up their pickup trucks for noise campaign, which acts as a psychological harassment that can't really be detected. And if you complain about it, they can say you're crazy. You know what I mean? That maybe you're having a nervous breakdown or you're paranoid, etc. But when it's so repetitious, what you have to do is you have to record, the consistency of how many times it happened before you actually even make a complaint. So when you make a complaint, you have documented history of how consistent this thing has been. And then after you make your complaint, make sure you get a written statement saying that you brought to the attention of the authority the crime that was being committed and what noise ordinance it violated. So there, you can actually Google, or you can go down to your local city hall and tell them to pull the local regulations on your city, which noise is regulated in most cities and in most states. They do have a noise ordinance. Usually it's within certain hours, um, etc. Uh, so, as you can see, a lot of people's going to start pulling up if I don't pull out. So, you know what your boy is going to do. I'm just to rock and roll. Hold on, you guys. All right. So, long story short, if I don't hurry up and leave, they will make it very, very difficult for me. They will just drive up like this guy, set in his vehicle, and that'll be a form of silent harassment. When I leave, he leaves. Because the whole purpose of him being here is for me. And then there's the tenant windows, etc. And that's just how they operate. You know. Anyway, um, that bot actually got out his truck, so maybe I should record it without live streaming it. That way it can organically unfold without them being on their P's and Q's saying, hey, stand down, don't bother him, etc. Kabash said, did you hear about NY was to be on a lookout for sleepers? They're messing with my words. Well, I haven't heard that per se, but I do know that New York City is just a test hub um, for the majority of what goes on in the United States. You know what I mean? So if they're going to carry out some sort of false flag event, a place like New York would be um, uh, uh, primary. It would be a place they're more than likely to conduct such an act, right? In order to get the world's um, attention. So New York is like a world hub. You know, a lot of international trading, et cetera, goes on there, right? So yeah, I can only imagine. And don't get me wrong, I'm hoping that YouTube don't get MTAC twisted. I'm not advocating sponsoring terrorism in any uh, form, shape, fashion whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I'm completely against it, right? I'm pro life, I'm pro peace, but real peace without deception. I'm anti false flag as well because I realize that the history of America is ensconced in, you know, the U.S. military and intelligence operatives being willing to attack themselves if need be in order to, you know, carry out acts of war. So that's just what that is. And as you can see, that guy who's just getting in his car, the bald headed guy we just passed by, he he wasn't out there 2 minutes. When I left, he's leaving, you know. So I'm glad I did get that on camera. When I leave, they leave. There's no reason for them to be here other than, you know what I mean, the fact that they are, um, you know, spies. So he's in that red vehicle that's backing up. You can see it in my rear view. So as soon as I leave, he hops in his car. He wasn't out there one 1 second. 1 second he wasn't out there. When I left, he left. So yeah, just wanted to do this video. No format, no topic that I had in mind. Just wanted to build with you guys so you can start getting to know and understand me and the situation I'm coming from. You know, so there's those extremely bright lights at nighttime. You can only imagine how harassing that would appear in the glare in someone's rearview mirror or side mirror with super intense bright lights. Even in the daytime, it can be quite annoying. You more of them, super brights. I don't know if they uh, eh, are picking up in the uh, low pixel with the low pixels that I have. I'm not sure if the camera can get the full effect and show you how intensely bright these lights are. It's a form of harassment. It actually, um, I actually probably need to pull up the documentations and do a segment on it, showing you the studies of that was done with MK Ultra regarding the use of lights and weaponry. Where do you think they get this stuff from in the movies? If you ever seen, I believe it's called Men in Black, the very first one with Will Smith. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen like the original one with Will Smith, right? Um, they had this light beam that when they flash it, um, it had the ability to temporarily wipe out people's memory. That's a true story. They just didn't make that up. That's not a fictional, what do you call it? Figment of someone's imagination. That actually came from studies that was done by scientists, neurologists, highly accredited in Germany during World War I and World War II. And they conducted those studies, and guess what? They ended up here in the United States through Operation Paperclip. This is the reality of it. So when you see those lights, go pull up those studies. They're hard to find, but I'm pretty sure if you can get on a Tor network, you'll be able to pull them up. That's why I come whenever I find crucial information, whether it's literature, books, or documentations on the web. I print that stuff out. I save the copies. You know what I mean? Knowledge is precious and it's powerful. So you guys just remember that. They're not just running around here with these bright lights. It's not some sort of new fluorescent bulb that they're trying out. This is a form of mind control. People, you better wake up and smell the Folgers in your cup, because they got y'all asleep, talking about mentally sleep. If y'all don't know this stuff, you better start getting to know it. We're at war, people. You know, it's a full-scale war. Just don't look like your average war. No, there's not army tanks coming down the highways and the streets, but there are military operatives. You best believe all around us. The problem is you don't know who's friend, you don't know who's foe. All right. So I wish I could really, really, really zoom in, because right there on that turning lane, like, can't even point it out. Anyway, I was going to show you guys. Uh, so South Dakota tags, on that black Suburban, etc. So anyway, you guys, we're in a full-scale war. The Nazis, they're all around us. Unfortunately, they are dressed in civilian clothing. It's difficult to tell who's friend, who's foe. They have taken on political positions, positions of law enforcement. Do you think that normal policemen go around just emptying the clip? No, that sounds like a Hail Hydra type Nazi operative. They say empty the clip, execution, Nazi style, right? That's what been going on for years. You guys can't see it. You think regular police officers walk up during a routine traffic check and empty a clip in somebody's chest? Or do you think that's an undercover Nazi? If I have to answer that question for you, then you're more asleep than I think you are. These are Nazis, people. These are satanic operatives that are doing their job. Now I'm heading back toward Calhoun, and as you can see, we're leaving the city. I was on the outskirts of the city then, heading back into the woods. And I live about um, 10, 10 or 12 miles west of Monroe, of West Monroe, actually, about 12 to 15 miles west of West Monroe. So I'm out in the country quite a bit. So yeah, I've been trying to press the end live stream. Unfortunately, my screen is a little frozen, so you guys are going to have to just ride with me just a little longer till I can get to a stop to play around with this phone and see what's going on. So that's the middle school, one of the middle schools out here. That's West Ridge Middle School. Um, so um, I went to go apply for a job out here. They had help needed hiring now signs posted in the yards and all along the sidewalk. As soon as I walked in there to apply, they said they weren't hiring, and they sent somebody out to rip up all the signs. Insane, absolutely nuts, right? These people, they've already been pre-informed either not to hire you or to harass you if they hire you. That's just the reality of it. All right, you got to put down the phone because one time's waiting right there. All right, so we're back. I thought he was actually paying attention to the traffic. It looks like it's none of my business. It looks like he was trying to mac down a chick. I ain't mad at him. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hate you, brother. As Master P once said, "Player, play on." I can't hate your homie. You're rolling on chrome and candy. In this case, you're just rolling in a pursuit vehicle, uh, trying to holler at the chicks. They say the ladies love a man in uniform. I didn't know they meant police uniform, so he seemed to uh, really have her own. I mean, half of these chicks are working for the police anyway. Gang stalking, especially in where I'm at. Trust me, 99% of these females you come across are undercover agents. Everybody is, you know, old, young, babies, children, you name it. Everybody gets a paycheck working for the United States government. Department of Homeland Security, the NSA, they have pretty much everybody either directly on their list or indirectly on their payroll. And if they don't have you on their payroll, then guess what? It's nothing to hand you a gag order by, you know, signed by some sort of corrupt federal magistrate judge saying, here, if you say anything about what we're doing and how we're operating, you can spend 10 to 15 years in prison. And nobody wants to do fair time because, according to the law, you have to do at least 80% of your time before you can be eligible for parole. So you best believe they're on the hush. They're not going to say anything. Your family, your friends, they're not going to throw 10 to 15 years of their life away just to be loyal to you. You know, it's just the reality of the war that we're in. I'm going to call it what it is. It's a form of warfare, right? It's a silent war. Weapons for Silent Wars. It's a book. You should look it up. You know, Google what weapons for silent wars. You can order it off Amazon. Talks about this secret warfare that's taken place in America, this Holocaust, many victims. Myron May, He was a victim. You're talking about an accredited attorney by the age of 32. This black man, this Israelite man, was a licensed attorney in 2 states. You know how difficult it is, and he done it by the age of 32, not in 1 state, but in 2 states, and was working on his third state. Of course, they had to get him. Gavin Long, that's another victim. Let's see, Ahmaud Arbery, that's another victim. You know, I could pull out a list of casualties from this war, and it is real, you guys. It's very, very real. So we're almost in Calhoun. We'll be pulling up in just a second or two. So when I tell you guys I live in the country, you can see for yourself how deep in the country out in the woods I actually live. You know. All right. So my signal got cut. Not sure if there's anyone still in the building, but like I was saying, I live very deep out in the woods. When I tell y'all I live in the country, I don't be playing, you guys. You know, we've been driving and driving and driving, and that's the closest town to me, you guys. You know, West Monroe is the closest town to me. Other than that, man, I got to do my shopping around Calhoun, and trust me, there's very few options. We have a Dollar Tree, a Family Dollar, a Dollar General, one grocery store. Well, we have two grocery stores now. We have Max and we have Calhoun Groceries and a couple of gas stations, and that's pretty much the whole town outside of the small um, police station slash fire station. The Aaron Cactus. We have one Johnny's Pizza in the post office and the little school, and that's pretty much the entire town outside of these um, churches, which need to learn how to read the Bible for what it actually says and not for, I'll digress from there. But now we're coming into Calhoun. These subdivisions, like I said, this part of town is fairly new. When I left and moved away, all these subdivisions, they weren't here. These new houses, they were not here, say 12 years ago. These subdivisions, they were not here. This is new, and they have more on the other side. So this town have quadrupled in size. Nonetheless, it's still a really small town. I believe the population's like 1,200, somewhere between 12 and 1,500 now. So a really small, rinky-dink country town. Everybody used to mind their own business. Now they're all in my business. There's the project housing back there. That's where they want to be. The wannabe gangbangers hang out. You know what I mean? Uh, 103 click wannabe country gangster. Well, I ain't gonna disrespect them. You know what? Hey, you know what I mean? Represent. Get it how you live. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hate on them. You know, they do what they do. They obviously getting some respect in these gang stalking streets. So I ain't got beef with nobody. I'm just trying to do what the scriptures say, which is live peaceably with all men. Nonetheless, I hope this live stream's been fun. I probably won't keep it up, but I just wanted to share the day with you guys and build. So it was wonderful. Thank you for coming out. Till next time, you guys continue to stay in the word and continue to be blessed. But your boy MTAC has got to be his out.